Researchers at the University of Alberta and Brigham Young University in Utah conducted an online survey of 3,000 Americans aged 25 to 50 who've been married at least 1 year, and 1 out of 4 of the respondents said they had thought about divorce in the last 6 months. But it says as well that half those who consider divorce have a change of heart a year later. Laura Paris is an associate lawyer at Shulman Law Firm, and she joins me on the line. Good afternoon, Laura.
Hi, Ted. How are you?
So if this is true, then is it then the responsibility of lawyers when they sit down with their clients to say, before you go any further with this, you might want to take some time?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's very important, and as a family lawyer, to be able to assess your clients as they're coming in. You will find that typically clients will come in kind of guns blazing when they come in for a new consultation, with all these expectations that they have on how they want things to happen. Once we actually sit down and explain to them the process involved, you'll find that you may see a change of heart in people. And I think when we start to get that feel from people, that's the point where we sit back and say, look, you very much need to consider if this process is right for you at this time. And take your time before you choose whether or not, to proceed, right?
Yeah. Does it matter why they're considering?
The reason for considering a divorce?
Yeah.
It could play into it. I mean, in certain, let's say the issue is primarily financial. You could, from our perspective, we could suggest alternative routes to take before actually proceeding with the divorce. For example, maybe you need to see a financial manager. Maybe you need to work out a budget if the issue in your marriage is primarily financial. Or maybe you need to see a couples counselor before actually moving forward with the divorce itself.
Mm-hmm. And how many people take the advice of lawyers and seek counseling?
I definitely think that clients will take those steps. In my experience, I find even with clients who have actually retained us, you'll notice very quickly where people may be hesitating about their decision. And it's in those circumstances that we'll sit back and we'll say, look, maybe you need to take the time to speak to someone and truly, ascertain what your intentions are here. And, I have had clients who have taken that advice and gone to see a counselor and either come back to me afterwards and said, you know what, I think I still need some time to think about this. I think that I'm going to try couples counseling and try to work things out. Or, in the alternative, you'll have them come back and say, you know what, look, I spoke to someone and I'm confident that this is the best step for me.
We're going to change topics here, but I think we're aware of this. Recently, the census results were released, and it showed an inordinate amount, or at least many people call it that, would classify it that, an inordinate amount of people still in their 20s and 30s living at home.
Oh, absolutely.
And yet some nationalities, that's a norm.
I think so. I think you see it, not to generalize, but maybe the European culture. You have a lot of people who stay at home, and the reason for that, in my opinion, anyways, is because people are getting married later. And what the tradition is that you don't leave the home until you're married, and once you're married, then you take the next step and you purchase a home with your spouse, and that's the time that you actually leave the nest, right? So I think that is what, in my opinion anyways, is contributing to adults, staying at home for much longer than in the past.
Mm-hmm. According to a survey done by the Toronto Dominion Bank, many millennials are continuing to lean on their parents for financial support as well. And part of the reason, my opinion, is that the jobs that they were getting a generation ago are now going to the people their parents' age who have lost their jobs and need to continue to work.
For sure. I also think that, things have changed a lot in terms of your qualifications in getting these jobs. Back years ago with, the baby boomer generation, you could enter a trade without any experience. Now there's certain apprenticeships that are required. You need to take certain steps to get into a union, or education, I find, is a lot more important nowadays than it was before. Typically a university education, which back, when it was a baby boomer generation, was almost a privilege, and now it's almost a requirement. So I think that that's also delaying people's ability to actually earn income and be self-sufficient.
And what about the concept of parents saying, okay, well, if you're in dire straits right now, I'm just going to start giving you your inheritance right now. We're going to just keep giving it and giving and giving it until it runs out, or until you don't need it, and then whatever's left over, which I will know, then you'll get that when I'm gone.
Yeah, I think that you see that happening a lot. I think it's a little bit of a risky move to make with parents, because what may happen is that they don't know what's happening in their life, right? There could be medical issues that they encounter later on in their life, or unforeseen circumstances that they actually end up needing that money for. And then at that point, you've already dumped it in, to a home or a mortgage for your child, and then what do you do at that point? So it's difficult, because I think that parents don't want to see their children struggle. And not all parents, but I would say generally parents want to see their children do better than they did. So I think that it's hard, because they want to help them out. They want to get them out of the house and get them to be independent. But you take a risk in kind of giving all your money to them when you don't know what may happen in your future.
Yeah, because then if you need money, then you're going to have to turn to them for it, and the odds are they won't have it.
Exactly.
All right. Pleasure chatting with you. I appreciate it. Have a nice weekend.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Laura Paris is an associate lawyer at Shulman Law Firm. It's, we got about 3 minutes before the wrap of the program. I got a question here that just came across a text. Could you tell me the name of the piano piece played several minutes ago after your last break? It was awesome.
Could have been summer. Could have been summer. Could have been summer. Could have been summer. Could have been summer.